Hi guys, today we have a nice collection of IEMs on the table from Tipsy Audio. Tipsy's IEMs have been coming up a lot when people talk about IEMs that perform well in games, especially within the COD community, so I was really eager to try them all out. So thanks to Tipsy for providing these review samples for me. Here we have the single dynamic driver Tipsy M1, a triple driver setup M3, and their M5 that has a really interesting 5-driver cocktail inside. The M1 and the M3 come with the same accessories, a nice can for storage, a very nice stock cable, and some ear tips. The stock ear tips for me did not really offer a deep enough insertion for a good seal, so I pretty much instantly defaulted using the Spinfits that I have found to work really well on my ears. The M5 has a lot of accessories and their ear tip collection is also pretty insane. I really like their foam tips and their liquid silicone ones. The cable is a super premium feeling thick modular cable that has a bunch of different adapters to choose from, and you also get a USB-C DAC to go with them. The case is also quite fantastic on the M5. It's a very rigid carrying case with a sweet outer layer and inner layer as well. This is some really nice looking case, I'd say. The shells are crafted beautifully with the shell thickness gradually increasing from the M1 to the M5 to make room for more drivers. The most comfortable for me, of course, are the M1s, but even the M5 remains reasonably comfortable. With the M5, I occasionally develop a slight pressure point on my cauliflower ear since it's kind of weirdly shaped, but I'd imagine most of you don't have this problem. Or what do I know? Most of you watching could be athletes of combat sports. I don't know. For music, the Tipsy M1 offers a very nice single dynamic driver experience. The sound is a very relaxed one with more bass presence than with the M3 or the M5. These are great for everyday commuting and some casual listening. The sound is not fatiguing and I like to listen to music with these a lot. The M3s then offer more presence and air since they have a single dynamic driver and 2 balanced armature drivers setup. The M3s are really dependent on the seal you get, and with the stock tips I thought firstly, wow, these are kinda horrible, but with the Spinfits I really like these for music. The difference is huge. The M5s offer you a bone conduction driver that you can feel if you tap on the shell, a single dynamic driver, a planar magnetic driver, and 2 balanced armature drivers. My first experience with a bone conduction driver was with the Kiwi Ears Etude, so it's interesting to see that one implemented here as well. These are tuned really for that studio reference sound, and these are really nice for some analytical listening, but for strictly music listening and enjoying music, I tend to enjoy the M1 and the M3 a bit more. These just lack a bit of the warmth the other two have and sound really flat because, well, they are meant to be that way. I haven't tried to EQ these, but I imagine with some EQ you could get this to sound the way you want. For gaming, especially the M3 has been gaining a lot of attraction, so I was really eager to see how they all perform in Apex. My first impressions with both M1 and M3 was with the stock tips and hence the bad seal. They sounded so weird. They lacked detail. The M1 was just very muddy and the M3 was quite piercing. With the Spinfits I managed to get a proper seal and boy were they a lot better. The M1 offered a pretty good single dynamic driver performance in Apex, but I would not recommend them for competitive gaming or FPS games that much. They lack a lot of that detail retrieval and I felt kinda lost on some fights, especially when there are a lot of stuff happening. Also with the M1s I got caught off guard quite frequently by people just walking from behind, and when I noticed them it was already too late. With the M3 the experience was much better and they performed pretty okay-ish, I think. They have a tendency to veil a lot of the small details when fighting, but the directional audio was pretty nice, I think. A lot of that comes from the 4K Hz and 10K Hz bumps these have, and honestly I think these are quite solid, but I cannot stress it enough. You need to find good ear tips and get a deep insertion to really make this sound and perform good. Usually the difference is not this drastic, but with these it was huge. The M5s with the vibration transducer don't really suit Apex. just like the Kiwi Ears Etude with the same stuff. They have a nice separation and technical prowess, but the moment you shoot your gun, the gunshots linger just too much and mask out a lot of the smaller cues. Same happens with explosions and louder abilities. Apex is a funny game audio-wise, and sadly these just don't work there that well in my opinion. I tried these also in Battlefield where the experience was much better. So yeah, for Apex, I would say the M3s are the best one out of these three. So yeah, the M3s are my pick, but with a notion of mandatory tip rolling. If you find these harsh in the game you are playing, let me tell you, the seal is not good or they are not properly seated. These are the pickiest IEMs I have tried in that regard. But yeah, that is all for this one. Thanks for watching and goodbye.